This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and his better half, Marnie Winfield.
If they're saying this is the only way you can stay sober and they can't stay sober, you know, like if I'm like, hey, Rob, eat this brownie and you're going to grow a midget booty. And you're like, well, Corey, don't you want a midget booty? And I'm like, oh my God, I want a midget booty so bad. And you're like, well, did you eat the brownie? Uh-huh, yeah. Well, Corey, you don't have a midget booty. Uh-huh. But eat the brownie. It's good. It'll give you midget booty.
That was the best freaking analogy, dude. That was awesome, man. I love it. That was great, dude. That was great. Yeah.
And thanks for knowing that. I don't know if you know, but they say I'm known for my analogies. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of famous for that. It is the 10th of February, 2022. Wait, you just roll your eyes?
No.
That is the date.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe you're rolling your eyes at something else. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Marnie and I talk about things in recovery, and today we're going to talk about how our day went. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a tough day for me, and I have 3 years and some change, 3 years and a month, 3 years, 2 months almost, clean, and it was a tough one today. I went to the funeral. You went with me, Marnie, of course. A funeral of a friend of mine who you never met. You heard me talk about him. His name is Rusty. And it was tough. It was sad. You know, he's 47 years old. And addiction, man. What can you say?
Yep.
His sister, she got up and talked at the funeral, and she said some things that hit home. And I'm just glad that it wasn't my sister up there saying those things, you know, and thank God, I'm still here, and I love life in recovery. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. But today was tough. You know, we had a 3-hour drive back home, which isn't bad. I drive people all over the state of Michigan, take them treatment.
Right.
So 3 hours, you know, there, 3 hours back to me is it's nothing, but we needed to get home. Yeah, and we'll talk about some of the trip later, but on the way down, you know, I'm just thinking about the memories of Rusty and him seeing me in the hospital and some of the stuff I talked about on the podcast the other day. And then I remembered some other stories too, where this one, sorry, we got cats fighting in the studio. That's what we do. There ain't no money on them though, so it's all good.
No.
Peter said, just don't gamble on it. All right. No, but there was a story that I remembered, and I don't know why I remembered it, but there was a time where Rusty was having a go of it, and his wife reached out to me and was like, have you heard from Rusty? And I was like, no, have you? Or, you know, how come he's not at this meeting? Well, it turned out they ended up finding him, but he wasn't in a good way. And like at that meeting, some other guy had heard about it or something and started like making little jokes that he thought was funny, you know, kind of making fun of my friend Rusty. And I did not like it at all. I remember I was super, super pissed off. And at the end, like when people were supposed to hold hands and do all that, the closing and whatever, the AA meeting, I was like, nope. I was like, I gotta go. Like, I can't even be around this guy anymore. I was just so pissed. And a woman came out and she was like, Corey, look, you know, like, I understand that you're pissed, you know, screw that guy. And he ended up apologizing to people later about it. But it was just one of those things where somebody was taking joy in someone else's misery. And if you want to do that, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. But when you're supposed to be in the brotherhood, you know, sisterhood, whatever, the family of people in recovery, like, that's not good.
No.
You know, and you're going to do that publicly at a meeting. But, I was thinking about that too, you know, and how I stood up for him, and, you know, he was always kind of there for me when he could be. And it's just a sad day for me. I'm glad you got to go with me though. Mm-hmm. But it was sad.
Yeah. I wanted to be there for support for you, and also just, you know, showing the support of the recovery community. You know, we lost someone else to this disease, and it's a struggle, and it's hard staying clean and sober, you know, and some people are just the battle, they lose the battle, which is sad. But the room was packed. There was tons of people there. you know, and the piece I liked about it is, well, his sister was very well spoken, and she made it very clear that family had been through a lot. He had been through a lot, and they recognized his battle, and they recognized how long he struggled, and that she wanted to remember the good times, you know, and she shared a bunch of funny stories. And I thought that was kind of, it lightened the mood a little bit, because I don't know, different people think different ways about what funerals are supposed to be. Some people, it's like a way to say goodbye. But it's nice when people treat it as like a remembrance and celebrating the person that they were, and wishing them well in the afterlife and the beautiful heavens above, you know, like kind of a new beginning.
Yeah.
And
I liked how she didn't leave out the vodka part.
No.
You know, she's like, he had
yeah,
a very strong relationship with vodka, or she put it something like that. Like she wasn't hiding the fact of, you know, alcohol played a huge part in all of this and his early death. And I just thought, okay, you know, like there's some kids in here, because there were some younger people there that they need to hear this, you know. And she didn't go into great detail about it, but she went into it enough to where you knew, like, okay, you know,
that was a big factor, like, probably the factor.
Because they could have been like, oh, he got COVID. You know, oops,
Yeah.
he got the COVID and passed away. No, they didn't do that. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the family. As you could tell, Rusty was quite the character, and you could probably see why him and I got along so well. We just like to have fun, and until we didn't, like I said, it just became, I think, too much for him. And what I mentioned to you the other day on the podcast about him just kind of distancing himself, and then it became to where he was isolating big time, and they just knew it was bad news. And his sister kind of said the same thing, like, oh, you know, he's out there, because he kind of had a house in the middle of kind of nowhere, you know, and that's bad news. And she knew it too, you know. It's like, we're always trying to get him out. And he had this little dog, and he like would give it like a mohawk, and then he would like dye its tail pink, and I don't know, like, because he thought it was cool. Not like, I don't know, it was Rusty was funny like that though, but it was sad. But you know, he did live a pretty good life. He touched a lot of people. He made a lot of people laugh, a lot of people smile. And he was in a bad accident in 2009, and I think he helped a lot of people with that too, to kind of show other people that maybe were struggling with, you know, that kind of physical therapy recovery, that, you know, it is possible that you can kind of get your life back to somewhat. And he'll be missed, man. And I just wish I would have talked to him one more again, you know, at least since we started 217 recovery, and just kind of let him know. And I think he knew it, what I was doing, but it's been so long since I really talked to him. But lost a good dude.
Yeah.
So there was a reading that you wanted to, well, you asked me just a minute ago, you're like, what did you think about that poem? And I told you, honestly, I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I was just making conversation because the pastor, the pastor of the church that he attended, did a reading of a poem by D.W. Conway, and it's called God's Garden, and it's real short, so I'll just read it. And it made me tear up. I mean, I was crying through the whole thing just because. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's, you know, it's touching because, yeah, I mean, it wasn't in an accident, like, you know, it wasn't something that was like a car crash or that was unexpected, but he was taken too early, you know, from the world and from us. And I guess, like his sister put it, I kind of got the feeling when she was speaking, it's almost like he's at peace now, you know, because you can't not feel it any other way. You know, I mean, she saw firsthand how hard he struggled. And I'm sure that was just not even a pinch of what she really went through. But I I'll go ahead and read it. It's called God's Garden. God looked all around his garden and found an empty place. He then looked down upon the earth and saw your tired face. He put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. He knew that you were suffering. He knew you were in pain. He knew that you would never get well on earth again. He saw the road was getting rough and the hills were hard to climb. So he closed your weary eyelids and whispered, "Peace be thine." It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home.
I don't know. What was your question to me? Like, did I?
No, I was saying that, like how you felt about it. When we're in our active addiction, we are suffering and we're in pain, you know, and there are times when we feel like we're losing the battle and we can't do it. And there are, I mean, at least for me, there was ups and downs, but my downs were really, really low. I was at that point where I'm sure my family thought, I don't think she's going to make it out of this. And they were tired of seeing me hurt so much because they knew that I was hurting because I knew I couldn't fix myself, or I thought I couldn't, until I made that conscious decision that I needed help and I needed to turn things around for me. And if I wanted to start over, I needed to accept the fact that drugs and alcohol couldn't be part of my life anymore. And I know that was just like one or two sentences that I just said, but that in itself was what gave me the will to live. Because that was the only thing. That's what it is. It's being in recovery is proving your will to live. Because if I would have kept doing what I was doing, I would be dead.
You and I both would be.
Yeah.
Especially going through COVID and, you know, getting unemployment or whatever. So having money, being told to stay home and stay away from people, we would be dead right now. If we didn't start our journey that's kind of stuck with us this time. And yeah, I would be dead. And you, yeah, that'd be horrible. You know, our families would be hurting, and it doesn't have to be that way though.
No.
I'm thankful. Like I said earlier, I love living in recovery. I love this life. It's been nothing but great to me, and I'm learning about myself every day. The more I reach out, the more I learn about myself, and the more I grow. And I just thank God for putting me here. You know, some of the things that I've been through and done recently, I don't even know how I've done them. You know, it's just like God's there just putting me on the path, and I just got to have faith that, hey, on this path, I don't have everything I want today.
Right.
Nope. But on this path down the road somewhere coming up, it'll be there, because other things that I've passed so far on this path are things that I've asked for, and God delivered. So I just need to have faith, stay on the path, and don't ask why. You know, just ask, okay, what can I do about it? You know, what's my role in this? But sometimes the devil will turn his little ugly head around and try to mess up your day. And it could be when you're having a sad day. You know, like today, we went back to my hometown for the funeral. It was not a, hey, let's stop and see family kind of trip. It was, let's drive there, hit it, and come back. You know, there was no staying overnight. We
weren't going to have a fun meal, any place cool.
There was no meal plan. There was nothing. There was no time for it, really. And we're going to have this big storm coming into Traverse City tonight, so I want to get back before that. Anyway, on the way there, I texted my mother. I said, hey, we're going to Rusty's funeral. And she wrote back, oh, well, I hope you were planning on stopping by. And I think I just said after it, you know, the funeral. And because I thought, yeah, we'll cruise by, say hi, what's up, you know, and bounce. And we get out and I say, hey, we're done. You know, we're done there. What's going on? What are you doing? Are you home? I tried calling her. She didn't answer. Sent her another message or two and nothing. And, well, you know, I'm not going to pull in the driveway and honk the horn. You know, like, maybe if she's busy. I know she wasn't feeling well. So we hit the road, head home. And she calls and, just all kinds of pissed off.
Oh, you should have stopped by and seen your mother and blah, 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 blah.
Pretty much all I heard. And then she started sending me, like, I just saw, it said disrespectful, something. I don't know what she's talking about. But I just went ahead and, you know, hit the ignore button on Facebook and then blocked her on my phone. Because I don't want to see those messages. You know, she's going to try to pull me into something that I don't feel like being in. And all she did was solidify, next time there's a trip like that, I'm not even going to let her know that I'm coming. I didn't see my brother. I didn't see my sister. It wasn't a trip for that.
Oh, yes, but you can see your mother.
Okay, maybe. But sometimes the way people act, I don't want to be around that. And when people are always like trying to pick a fight with you, or she wants to bring up things that she's done in my past, I remember, and I thanked her for them. Those times that she's been there for me. She's the only one who didn't give up on me, and I've thanked her for that. And some people probably say I'm being a jerk right now. And maybe I am. But there's just some of those times where I know what I'm feeling, which wasn't well today. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want to be hanging around my hometown all day. I just wanted to get back home. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we can talk. She doesn't call me that often either, and it's only 3 hours away. It's not that bad of a trip, but I don't know.
It was kind of an overall just stressful morning in general too. Like first when we decided to go, which I think, and I'm grateful that we did. I'm glad that we went.
Me too.
But we knew going into it that it was going to be there and back. Like we thought even not going because we have other responsibilities right here in Traverse City. I had to cancel a dentist appointment. I had to figure out how to do my work meeting, 2 work meetings over Zoom on the phone, which I'm worried about cutting out all the time. And I had to prep for that first thing in the morning. And then you were trying to scrape the window of the car to get the ice off of it. And I'd already started my meeting and I just got devil eyes from you. I didn't know what to do because here we are trying to get on the road to get down there. And it was not a comfortable, it wasn't meant to be, a vacation or any sort of getaway. It was like, let's go. We're still trying to check the boxes of life that are our responsibilities and come back with enough time to do the podcast and work on homework and, get ready for tomorrow. And it wasn't intentional that we were trying to hurt your mom's feelings or anything like that. Obviously, it was with the time thing. And then we were like, all right, let's hit the road. And then we said, let's stop by our house. And you're like, let me call her. And she didn't answer. And then you're like, she hasn't been feeling well anyway. So we probably should just get headed home and we'll come back another day when we can spend more time. I was like, good. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. And I think that she just isn't really like, I think how she looks at it is like, you were so close. Why didn't you stop by? And it was not like we did it on purpose.
The way I was feeling today, I feel sick. My stomach hurts. I can barely eat anything. Like I love food, so that's really bothering me. And just going to a funeral, I'm sad. You gave me devil eyes this morning. So my day wasn't really going all that well. And if I wasn't grounded in my recovery, and if I wasn't making decisions like, well, I'm not going to read all these texts because she's just blasting me, telling me what a horrible person I am. I really don't need that right now, but I could have read into that. And I could have, hey, get out of the car. I got to go do something, and went and got a bottle tonight. Yeah. I didn't do that because that's not what I want to do. And plus, I don't drink anymore. So that kind of makes it hard when you get a bottle when you don't drink anymore. It'd be like me going to the store and get a big old fish and frying it up, eating it tonight. Ugh. No thanks.
You wouldn't do that.
No desire. But people that are early in recovery, and maybe if I was in super early recovery, that might have bothered me. Today, I can make those decisions based on how I'm feeling, what's best for me, and just go ahead and say I'm selfish. Thank you. Because you have to be sometimes. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with trying to disrespect my mother or anything like that. And it could have been my brother, but he wouldn't have said this stuff. But it could have been anybody. But I was just using her because she was the person that, started, lashing out. And there's nothing I can do about that.
I absolutely adore your mom.
I know you do. And then I told you just might want to just go ahead and do what I just did. Save yourself some time. Save yourself some, why did she say that? Or why would she say that? Or just save yourself, because it'll be coming. She likes to throw out mean little things. And that's what she does when she feels hurt or whatever. But I don't know. I just didn't have time for it today. And I'm not going to sit there and justify. I'm a grown man. And yes, I do appreciate her being there for me. And I'll say it a billion times. I love her to death for that. But there's some times where I just don't need drama in my life or something that it's not really that big a deal. FaceTime me later. Mm-hmm. People do that all the time. In COVID, we didn't see each other very much. We could have FaceTime. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. But now I'd rather not even deal with it. So I don't know when I'll come back around again to that. But those kind of people, you just have to be very, very careful of your own feelings and know your limits, because people sometimes will push your buttons not on purpose. You know, like I said, my mother, she just felt hurt, so she was gonna lash out. That's what she does. But I'm aware of that, and so I took the precautions that I needed. Okay, well, I'm not gonna deal with that today either. You know, boom, boom. And you cut those things off right away. I talk about it a lot when I talk about people reacting and not reacting, when you can act instead. You know, you just take that time out. Just pause your brain for a minute. Just, this is because you want to fire right back. But don't. Just think about it. Think about how you want to respond to that. Then when you're responding, you're not reacting. You're responding and you're acting. And that's something that takes a lot of practice, but it's part of that too. You know, and until you can figure out how to deal with it, don't. You know, just let it be for a minute. And you'll save yourself some of that embarrassment, some of the shame, some of the regret of, man, why did I say that? Or I wish I didn't mean that. You know, I don't know why I said that. Just
yeah. I can't, I don't know how many times in my life I've been like, I wish I would have just taken the time to reflect on things before I jumped the gun and just started firing back, like you say. It's
hard, but it's something that I practice now. I'm not perfect at it. I never will be. But it's something that really does help me, and I can guarantee you it's saved me a lot of embarrassment. Something you might want to add to the arsenal, that, and just knowing when to just pause it, and if something's not good for you, then don't put yourself in that situation. You know, I could have sat there, like I said, and read all those messages about what a horrible son I am, this and that. What's that going to do? You know, is she going to guilt me into? I don't know again, you can't do anything about what somebody else is doing. What somebody else is saying. You have no control over their brain, you know, unless you're tied up in the basement or something. Nothing you can really do. Control what you can control. Save yourself those feelings or those emotions that you don't have to feel if you just step away from it, think about it, and then respond in a way that suits you and makes you feel okay and comfortable to get you through the next day sober.
Yep. 100%. I agree with that.
Well, better. You got you tied up on that chair over there. Just kidding. Oh, wait, no. There we go. Yeah. But other than that, though, I'm excited about the weekend. We got the Super Bowl coming up.
Oh, that's right.
I just pray that I can eat. Like, this is killing me. Like, I love food, and food is so good. The other day, I ate some pizza. You told me what was going to happen.
I did.
And you like rolled your eyes and were all pissed off. Like,
I was like, you can make that. And it was a frozen pizza. And I was like, and you had it open, you had it. And I was like, you really want to do that?
Yeah.
Are you sure? And I said, that's a terrible idea. And you're like, couldn't say, yeah, I know it. And I was like, well, you do what you want to do, but I know how you're going to be feeling later.
Bruh, I got so nauseous, and I ended up puking it up because I can't remember exactly what the doctor said, but it has to do with the pancreatitis, and it was a gallstone, and they took the gallbladder out, but then there's like a million more of them, and they're just kind of floating around in some mystical tube, and somehow they're causing pain, and yeah,
it's a bile duct, and they're falling. Is what the word he used. I don't know if that's a technical term, but they will just gradually fall and then either pass or not pass, which is why the attempt to increase the area of where they're supposed to go through in hopes that they wouldn't get stuck and cause the pancreatitis.
Yeah, they went there with like a balloon.
Yeah.
Those clowns and stuff play with. They open it up. So it's supposed to fall out now, but there's something with the food, and I know, like, if you have pancreatitis, it gets all flared up and swolled, and eating and drinking, you don't want to do any of it because it hurts it. And you just need to wait for it to calm down. You can slowly start eating, like, broth and, like, just silly stuff and Jell-O. Well, I've been through this so long, and it's so frustrating. I just want to eat food, and that pizza, I don't know, it just, because my body, like, it It wasn't sending it to the belly. Like, it was stopping it. Like, hold on, we got some construction going on down here with this little stone. It's blocking traffic. So it just kind of held it up, and I don't know, I got sick and ended up throwing it all up. Yeah. But I don't know. The Super Bowl's coming. I really like Super Bowl food. I just hope.
You remember last Super Bowl?
Yeah. I have a good friend Charles, who's missing, by the way. If you know where Charles is at, let us know.
Yeah. Pray for Charles all the time.
Yeah. Bo Clark, you might know him as, but if you know where he's at, drop us an email. We'd just like to know he's okay. Mm-hmm. But about it, you fell asleep at halftime, was it?
No. I did not.
The food preparation that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the dips and
we didn't barely eat any of it.
Nope.
I prepared food like it was going to be like a party. Mm-hmm. And, well, no, I knew it was only going to be, who else was there?
Charles.
It's Charles, yeah. I thought for some reason Tyrone came for some, but no, he was not available yet.
No, he was.
But, yeah, so, and then it just ended up, and Charles was like just 8.
Yeah, he comes over.
That's why I made the food, is because I was like, oh, I'm going to have it be all nice, and because we're having company, which we never have. And
he's like, no, I'm just 8.
And he's like, yeah, I just 8. I was like, well, that was.
Like, how'd you bring chips, dude? Like, what do you think I was having you bring chips for? Or maybe he brought pop. I think he brought pop and chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't eat anything. So we're just sitting there. We got vegetables out, 7-layer dip. I think it was some wings and crackers and cheese. And
I don't know if I had made wings. I don't think I made wings. I think it was just the dip and.
We ordered pizza. I don't know. There was a lot of food, and we didn't hardly eat any of it.
Yeah.
But this year, who knows?
We're probably not.
Do you know who's playing in the Super Bowl?
I don't. I stopped when my fantasy ended. I stopped paying attention to all football.
Okay, what teams do you think are in the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend.
What teams would you want to be in the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I don't know who's in it.
Name one NFL football team?
No, I'm just saying I don't know who's in it. I don't know.
No.
Not the Cowboys. I know that. I know it's not the Cowboys.
It's not the Cowboys.
That's one thing I do know.
Is the Los Angeles Rams, which Matthew Stafford plays for now.
Okay.
So being here in Michigan, a lot of Michigan people are like, go Rams, go Stafford. Because they are happy for him that he made it out of Detroit and their crappy organization to actually go to a good organization, good team. Now he's in the Super Bowl. They're playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, that's right. Because I remember they were saying on the ticket the other day is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, is it Bengals?
Bengals or Bengals? Bengals or Bengals?
Or
it's Bengals.
Not bagels?
It's Bengals. Right? Is that right?
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's however I say it. However anybody says it. So it's right. However you say it.
Say it fast enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I think the Bengals are going to win.
Yeah?
I really do. First, I was kind of rooting for Stafford just because Tyrone's a huge Lion fan.
And he's diehard.
He picked Matthew Stafford number 1 overall in our fantasy football draft. Yeah, his team finished dead last. Not that Matthew Stafford didn't have a great year or anything, but this is not who you take first overall. But he did. And maybe there were some other draft picks in there that probably cost him more than taking Stafford first overall. But he really wants Matthew Stafford to win. He loves Matthew Stafford's wife. He's like, Corey, listen to the podcast, you know. But he listens to the podcast from Matthew Stafford's wife, and he's just a huge fan. But I just feel like, I don't know. Like something doesn't seem right. Like Matthew Stafford finally leaves Detroit, goes to L.A. That's a Super Bowl. A Super Bowl's in L.A., so it's in his backyard. Tom Brady did it for the first time ever with Tampa Bay, where a team won the Super Bowl when it was played in their stadium. Mm-hmm. So that was the first time. Is that going to happen 2 years in a row, back to back? No. I mean, there's just too many things that, like, it's just...
Who do you want to win?
I don't know.
You're partial. You don't really care.
I don't really care. I mean, I kind of want to see Stafford kind of get it, but then it's kind of be funny if he didn't. Like, just to the Lions fans, because the Lions fans, man, they've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And they would probably just be like, yep, there you go. Same old Stafford. You know, like they would kind of blame the lion part of him still. Like, oh, he's still a lion. Look, because he does do some dumb plays. Like he'll throw interceptions right to the end zone. Like he's made some bonehead mistakes, but I can just see them going, yep. Like they're already probably setting themselves up for it. When we talk to Tyrone, I'll talk to him tomorrow and I'll ask him about that. And Tyrone's pretty optimistic, so he might just laugh it off. But I bet Lions fans are like, no, they're already kind of preparing mentally. Like, all right, well, if he loses, I could see where it would happen. Saw that coming, like watch that for 18 years or however long he's with Detroit, like 10 or 11 or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I really think Cincinnati's going to win, though. I just think there's too many things that have to be overcome that have never happened or only happened like once or twice in the NFL for Stafford to win that. And I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
We will see. But you're not rooting for either one either.
No.
You're just commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I want to see the halftime show.
Yeah, I saw this Facebook post that said Eminem and Snoop Dogg are having a concert, and I hear there's like a sports game after it.
Yeah. I know.
That's what it is. I thought that was funny.
Kind of looking at it too. Of course, Snoop and M were beefing a little there not too long ago, and then they cleared that up. So now they're back to being good graces, and then Dre came through, but not with a thing of Tanqueray, but with a plan to do the Super Bowl halftime show. And the Super Bowl's like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. Which I think is awesome. There have been some eyebrow-raising acts the past few years. I'm like, huh? Like, how's that going to be good? Okay. Yeah. Lady Gaga, I think, was the last good one. I mean, she, like, jumped off the little platform. I don't know if you saw that one.
Mm-mm.
I was at some rehab. I was, like, watching Super Bowls from rehabs for, like, 4 years in a row. I was like, this has got to stop. Like, why am I always in a rehab? But no, that was a pretty good one. But that's the last one I can remember that was actually like really, really good. But this one I think is going to be super, super dope. They were saying that they're playing like 2 different songs right now while they rehearse. And the neighbor, like people in the area, a SoFi Stadium, are just going nuts because they're cranking the music so loud. I think it's like a Journey song, and then there's some other song they're playing at the same time. I mean, it's Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they're just like blaring them because they don't want anybody hearing what's really going on inside the stadium with, Eminem, Snoop, Dre, Lil Peeps, whoever else is with them. So it's driving the neighbors nuts. People around sitting here, it's like, what? So we shall see if the Super Bowl halftime show lives up.
Where is it at again?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
This is LA.
Where your brother lives.
That's what I was telling you. The ticket was broadcasting from there all week, and that's why I was listening today. I'm like, hey, he's in West Hollywood. How come we didn't go to the Soho House? I asked my brother why you didn't take us to Soho House.
I know.
What's up? Why didn't we go there, man? But you were taking us out of town. But he did take us around, and we started like sleeping in the car, like showing us around. We were so tired, we were just like falling out. Can't keep my eyes open. But go back and relive those podcasts from last June. Pull them up on the app.
Yep.
Go back and listen to hear us talk about it. But thanks for listening, and hopefully you got something out of it today. If you're looking for a place to stay, because I'm a rapper, I'm a rhymer, we do have that listed on our website at 217recovery.com. Go to resources, and I think it's called List of Sober Living Homes in Michigan. It could be longer than that. It's a really long name of a page, but click on that, check it out. Other resources are on there as well. 217recovery.com. The app is free. You can listen to podcasts all the way back to 2019, every single podcast we've ever done.
Yep, and it'll give you an alert when we have a new podcast posted.
Yep, some notifications, so make sure you do click the notifications that you want them, and we'll let you know when new ones are published. And when other news and info is going on, we'll hit you up with a notification as well. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you on Saturday.
Night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Don't forget to check out our special episodes found only on the 217 Recovery app.